My sound, I don't know what's wrong with my laptop sound. So yeah, I'm so sorry, guys. Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. For those that are 8 hours behind, like those in, I don't know, some part of Canada, good night. Should I say good night or good early morning? But that's fine on a lighter note. Good to see everyone here. I can see a lot of people. Hi, Julian. Hi, Cassie. Hi, Bola. Hi, Osage. Hi, Fidel. Hi, Adeshino. And hi, Ade. Thank you all for joining today's session. I'm so happy to have you all here. Thank you. Thank you. So today's session is more like um, a showcase of what our students have been able to do in the course of our program. Our program, first of all, I know some of us have already been hearing about Amdor Analytics, but for protocol's sake, I'll just go over like a brief introduction again. So, first of all, my name is Natasha. I'm the customer experience specialist at Amdor Analytics. Amdor Analytics is Nigeria's leading edtech organization that train tech newbies, professionals, or anyone that is willing to retrain people um, with on-demand tech skills ranging from data analytics to data science to AI engineering to cybersecurity to automation, business analysis, project management, any tech course you can think of, name it, we probably are, offering that program in our organization. And we've had thousands of students in the course of over 4 years that we've been running Amdor Analytics. We've had thousands of students register with us, and we've had good feedback. One thing Amdor Analytics stand out, one thing that makes us stand out amongst other edtech organizations is that we deliver value for your money. We don't do mediocre work. We don't teach. We don't do mediocre trainings here. You can. I'm sure if you've been following us on social media, on anywhere, you would have heard, watched our testimonial videos, read through the text testimonials, see our live feedback from students and all of that, and you'd know that we give value for your money, and we also give top tier training only, top tier. Yeah. So our trainings are everything you can think of and more. Live classes, not just videos, live classes, access to resources. You have access to all the resources that will be shared for 1 year. We have um, structured program in the sense that you're not just learning today, you learn this one tomorrow. No. We follow a structured roadmap for all our courses. We also have like extracurricular activities that we give to our students, stuff like the Thursday mentorship sessions where we get to invite industry professionals, out there that are doing well um, in different fields, both tech or even non-tech. So industry professionals that have been successful, we bring them to come speak to our students because we believe that learning is beyond the four walls of the classroom. People also need to know how to apply these skills in the real world, or also need to, hear from those that have applied these things and are successful at it, right? So we also invite industry professionals. Aside that, we also do things, we help you build your portfolio. We teach you how to build your portfolio. We teach you how to set up your LinkedIn account and how to, start up creating on LinkedIn, posting on LinkedIn, building a professional brand for yourself. We also teach you Upwork, how to get jobs on Upwork, how to build your profile to attract recruiters and all of that. We teach you how to, work on your CV, teach you about how to make your CV pass ATS screenings and all of that, teach you how to pass interviews and a lot of that. So yes, we do not give jobs directly, but I can guarantee you that if you follow everything that we teach in the course of the program, you get a job in no time. So today is like a showcase, a practical session where our students come to showcase what they've learned, products that they've built or projects that they've built. Let me know use the word product now. Products mainly for web developers, but like um, projects that they've built, right? Their portfolio, what they've been able to achieve in the course of learning at Amdor Analytics. So we have Kasi Chikasimobi Azuokeke. I hope I got that correctly. She'll be here. So she's one of our star students, actually. She won student of the week, I think twice, right? She's exceptional. One of my best students. I'm the customer experience person, so I have like direct contact with a lot of our students. So if I tell you that she's one of the best, believe me, she's very good. And she makes me proud. She makes me proud. So she'll be here today to, you know, show us what she show us what you got. Let me talk like movies. Show us what she's been able to build, you know, in the course of her Amdo analytics training, her dashboard. She registered for data analytics with us. So she'll be showing us her dashboard, walking us through, her process, how she puts things together, how the numbers become dashboards in data analytics. So, yeah, hi, Cassie. How are you doing?
Hi, good day.
Good evening.
Um, Good day, everybody.
Yeah.
My name is Chika Simobi Azokeke, and I am here to present my dashboard that I created using different data sets. So today I'll be presenting two of my dashboards, and yeah, let's get into it.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Cassie. Please share your screen.
So I'll be sharing my screen now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yeah,
Yes, I
Okay,
can.
everybody can see my screen, right?
yes, we can see it.
Okay. So the first dashboard I'm going to be starting with is my impact of work quality on mental health. And I developed this dashboard using Excel tool to develop the dashboard. So let's just go through what the dashboard is talking about and how I analyze it. So the summary of the dashboard is this is a dashboard that represents the data set of 5,000 employees that was collected as a survey over time. They collected not only the um, mental health of the employees, but how it affects their work. So we have three categories of work that is here, three main categories, which is the remote work, the on-site work, which is the physical work, and then the hybrid, that is a mix of both on-site and remote workers. So over the collection of data, which was 5,000 employees, we have four genders: female, males, prefer not to say, and non-binary. So with the data collected, we can see here that in our key KPIs, which is the key performance indicators, the percentage of people affected by mental health condition, it was collected over four mental health conditions, people with four categories, which were anxiety, burnout, depression, and those with no mental health condition. So out of those with anxiety, burnout, and depression, 76% of them had either of these, while only 24% approximately had no mental health condition, that they were not suffering from any mental health condition. So we can see from this data, from these values here, that most of the workers had either anxiety, depression, or burnout as a mental health condition or challenge. So looking at the first dashboard, I used pivot charts in Excel, Power Pivot, and Power Query to visualize this data. So we have work-life balance by mental health condition. And this side over here is our legend. So it's kind of, or rather, it gives us the color attributes to the mental health condition. For instance, now this anxiety represents this, burnout is for this here, second row, depression is this color, and then those with no mental health condition is this color. So this is how it is throughout the data set. So looking at work-life balance, I kind of put the overall number of people in each one. We have five categories for this: good work-life balance, very poor, very good, excellent, and poor. It is arranged in descending order, which means that those most of the employees had good work-life balance, while the least of the employees had poor work-life balance. So among those with good work-life balance, we can see that if I over this, most of them had burnout, while among those with poor work-life balance, most of them had either anxiety, which were 263 people or employees, and sorry, depression, which were 263 employees, while 259 had anxiety. So from this um that particular graph, we can see that those with good work-life balance had the highest amount of people with no mental health condition. Yes, they had the second highest amount of people with no mental health condition, while those with very poor work-life balance had the most, which was quite interesting because you assume that those with very poor work-life balance is just how well they handle both their job and their normal personal life, or their personal, yes, their personal lifestyle. So those with very poor had none. But looking at it very well, they were also the second highest amount of people, that's employees in the data set, while those with good just differed by four people with no mental health condition. So moving on. Okay, before I move on from this, I can say that the highest in the five categories with either anxiety, burnout, or depression were those with good work-life balance, though they were also the most populated. But if we look closely, those with very poor work-life balance had either the second highest or third highest in depressions. For instance, now those with poor work-life balance, you can see that they are the first 263 employees, which compared to those with you know, good, very poor, and very good, they were actually the highest amount of people who had depression. So we can see lower or work-life balance can result in higher mental health conditions such as depression. So what I would advise here, though we still come to recommendations, is that people should have a balanced work-life balance. That they shouldn't either it shouldn't be too extreme, but we can see that having poor one can escalate the mental health condition. And also those with poor work-life and had the least amount of people with no mental health condition. So going to sleep quality, which was also another interesting insight here. We can see that in sleep quality, across the multiple analysis, employees with poorer sleep quality or average sleep quality had higher amounts of anxiety, burnout, and depression, as their levels of anxiety, burnout, and depression was high. Looking at it here, those with good sleep quality are the ones that dominate the data, the graph here. So most of the employees, both in on-site, hybrid, and remote work, had mainly good sleep quality. but it's not by high margin. We can see here that it was only 1,000. Let me see if I can zoom in. It was 1,687 people who had good sleep quality, while 1,685. So it's only differed by two people. So just the difference of two between people who had good sleep quality and poor sleep quality. And then those who had average sleep quality, the value is here 1,628 people out of the 5,000 employees. So looking at this closely, although those who had sleep quality had the most amount of people with no mental health condition, they also recorded the highest amount of employees in the category. While those with poor sleep quality, they had the second highest amount of people, but um, they recorded the highest amount of burnouts. And if we look at it closely, they also recorded the highest amount of depression. So, in summary, sleep quality is affecting mental health, or rather, according to the data set, sleep quality affected mental health condition because those with poor and average sleep quality recorded higher amounts of anxiety, burnout, and depression rather than those with good sleep quality. You can see the difference here. Those with burnout were 445 for poor sleep quality. Good sleep quality was 431. So this is higher than this, even though this good sleep quality is higher in population. So that affects mental health condition. So going to our other graph here, we have total employees by mental health condition. So overall in our data sets, I visualize the amount of people in each of the mental health condition and which one is the most prevalent. And from this data set, we can evidently see that burnout has the highest amount of people. That's the most prevalent mental health condition amongst the 5,000 employees that were recorded. Many of them mainly had burnout, while anxiety was the second highest, with only differing of two people. 1,278 people had anxiety, while 1,308 people had burnout. So the least were those with no mental health conditions. So among the workers, only a few amount of them had no mental health condition, while the highest were burnout and anxiety, with depression being the second least or third highest. So we're going to work location by mental health condition. Remember, we analyzed this with the three categories of work location, which were hybrid, on-site, and remote workers. So among these three work locations, which mental health condition is more prevalent in this? And when I analyzed this, there was an interesting insight that came about. No specific mental health condition is unique to any work location. Each of them have the one that is more higher in it. That's the one that is higher in the work location. So, for instance, now those who work remotely, which are remote workers, had higher amounts in burnout. I think their highest was anxiety. So they had their most of the employees had anxiety, followed by burnout. And then the list of them had no mental health. Okay, the list of them had depression. So depression was least among those who worked remotely. Remote workers had more of anxiety and burnout. And then the third highest were those with no mental health condition. Then those who worked on site, the list of them had no mental health condition. With only 376 of them out of 1,637 workers had no mental health condition, while most of them had burnout. Then most of them also had depression compared to those who worked remotely, mainly on-site workers, which are physical workers or physical, like they work in physical places. That's what on-site is. They had mainly depression and burnout, while anxiety was 407. So we can see that anxiety is the third highest compared to remote workers who had more anxiety. Then we have hybrid, which is a mix of both on-site and remote. And out of 1,649 hybrid workers, they had that 400 of them were had no mental health condition, while 421 of them had depression. So most of them had depression, and the second highest were okay. The first, most of them actually had anxiety, while the second highest was depression. So it was mainly depression and anxiety that was prevalent among hybrid workers compared to on-site workers. That the anxiety was actually the third, that's the second least amount of people had anxiety, and this most of them had anxiety. So you can also see that here too, and most of the workers also had anxiety, just like remote workers. And the list of them had no mental health condition. Among these three categories, we can see that remote workers were actually the most populated. So most of the people out of these 5,000 employees collected in this data set, 1,714 of them were remote workers, which were higher than both on-site and hybrid. Then age group by mental health condition. This is analyzing the age group that were collected. So we collected age groups from ranging from adults to seniors. And there was also an interesting analysis that came here. Though all graphs are interesting, but this one was really interesting because adults, which were the most populated, had naturally had higher anxiety, burnout, and depression rate. We can say that because of they were highly populated, right, in the mental health conditions. So when we're collecting data from them, they naturally had the highest anxiety, burnout, and depression, and also had the highest people with no mental health condition because they had more people. While seniors, which were the lowest amount, that they were the least populated amount of people, only 653 people or employees belonging to senior category, they had the least amount of depression, anxiety, and burnout rate. But between older adults and middle-aged adults, we can see that I actually categorized middle-aged adults to be the second in line to adults. So if adults is from let's say 25 to 35, middle-aged adults is the second category, which is also least to older adults. So older adults are next to seniors, while middle-aged adults are younger in size. But we can see that um sorry, older adults are yes. So we can say that most of the employees which were middle-aged actually had more mental health conditions than those who were older in adults. Although that were those that were categorized under older adults, we can see that their amount of people there is 1,282. So, in spite of the fact that older adults were more in population than middle-aged adults, there was still a higher rate of mental health condition in middle-aged adults than older adults. So, in the younger population, mental health conditions are more prevalent. Let's look at this closely. Burnout was 345 here and burnout was 319. So we can see that difference between people with no, with burnout with older adults and middle-aged adults. And yes, so this shows that age group by mental health does not necessarily mean the population of the age group, as older adults, which were higher in population, still had lower amounts of mental health condition than those who were categorized under middle-aged adults. Then moving on, we have employees by mental health condition. And okay, by mental health access to mental health condition. Now this just shows the mental health resources, pardon me. This shows the amount of people who had access to mental health resources. So in the employee data sets collected, we saw that some people in their workplaces they had access to mental health resources that can help them with their mental health condition. And you naturally think that, okay, since they have access to mental health resources, they can manage their mental health condition and they won't have so much mental health condition. So those representing yes are those who had access to mental health resources that could help them overcome their mental health condition. While those representing no are those that didn't have any access to any mental health resources that could help them with their mental health condition. And this was actually a complex graph because it didn't show a linear um, result as expected because those with no access to mental health condition had the highest amount of people with no mental health condition. So those with no access to mental health resources had the highest amount of people with no mental health condition, which you can see here, 628 of them had no mental health condition. And there's really a high difference between those with no mental health resources and those with mental health resources. So more analysis needs to be used here to know how often the mental health resources are being used and collect more data on why people with no access to mental health resources are actually doing better than those with access. Although those with no access had higher amounts of people with burnout compared to those with access to mental health resources. And those with no access also had higher amounts of people with anxiety compared to this. But if you look at depression, those with access to mental health resources had higher amounts of depression than those with no access to mental health. Then job satisfaction. How satisfied are they with their jobs? And when we look at this, people who are unsatisfied were the least amount of people compared to those who were neutral and satisfied. So if we look at the data sets or the table, we can see that those who were satisfied with their jobs actually had the highest amount of people with depression, and those who were unsatisfied had the least amount of people with depression, while those who were unsatisfied had the least amount of people with no mental health condition. So overall, if you look closely at the bars and how their height is, you can see that job satisfaction does not necessarily relate to mental health condition, as those who were satisfied with their jobs actually performed better and had a more healthier mental health condition status than those who were satisfied and neutral. But looking at anxiety and burnout, we can see that those who were unsatisfied actually had the highest rate of burnout level. So it wasn't so different from those who were neutral, with only a difference of two people. So unsatisfaction and neutral showed higher rates of anxiety and higher rates of burnout. Then um looking at work hours. Okay, yes, looking at work hours. But before we go to work hours, let's go to productivity change because I'm going to analyze productivity change by job satisfaction. So looking at
Hi,
productivity change,
can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Please, can you go to recommendations so that we can move to the next project? Thank you.
Okay. So my recommendations for these data sets, I opened it in my insights and from okay, so all these were my insights, and from this, what I recommended from the data sets, I wrote it in Microsoft Word, so I'm just going to read it out to save time. Not really read it out, but just kind of summarize what is there. Is employees should endeavor to distinguish clearly and identify a decrease or increase in productivity. So from the productivity change, which I was about to go to, you can see that the levels are not so different. So it would have been better if employees are able to distinguishly identify whether they had a decrease or increase in productivity rather than no change in productivity. So, because those with no change in productivity were seen to have higher people with anxiety, burnout, and depression compared to those with no mental health condition in them. So, that's within its category. Those with higher anxiety and burnout were in had more employees than those with no mental health condition. So productivity change should be able to people employees should be able to distinguish between if their mental health condition is causing a change in their productivity or no change, so that it will be addressed properly from there. Then other recommendations is organizations should endeavor to encourage good sleeping habits in employees. When we looked at sleep quality by mental health condition, we saw that those with poor and average sleep quality had lower mental health condition. So organizations can do this by introducing wellness initiatives, which are like not only giving work to employees, but also this thing also encouraging employees to have rest. So workload should be given in a way that employees are able to have enough rest for sleep, because as sleep does correlate to mental health condition. And then for remote workers who are working on their own, they should be able to balance their work in a way that they're still able to get more sleep quality. So sleep quality should be encouraged overall to increase no mental health conditions among employees. That's to reduce mental health condition and increase the rate of no mental health condition. Then organizations should also be able to monitor employee workload. When we look at this work-life balance, sorry, okay, for my last recommendation, I'll say that the final conclusion is that the analysis shows employee mental health conditions and how they are influenced by multiple factors rather than a single cause. So, with all this, we should encourage that employees have good work-life balance, and everything that is affecting mental health conditions should also be addressed by the organizations. So next, I'm going to go to my second dashboard, which is HR Analytics Employee Attrition and Performance Dashboard. So with this, I analyzed the attrition rate of employees in a company. And when I analyzed the attrition rate is just the rate at which people are leaving the organization. I visualized the data set, and from this, I was able to draw many insights and recommendations. We'll quickly look at the KPI and round up so that I'll be done with our presentation. The total employees I analyzed were 1,470 employees. So we have the active employees, which were the total employees that were still in the organization, which were 1,233. Then the those who had left the organization, which is the attrition, was 237 employees. Among those who had left, 87 females left and 150 males left the company. So we'll just go to the age group analysis, which is here. So looking at the age group, we can see that seniors had the least attrition, while young adults had the most attrition. And um, although young adults were higher in population than seniors, which were the least in population. So another insight we can draw from this is the education analysis, sorry, the environment satisfaction, not education, environment satisfaction. So looking at the environment satisfaction, those who had low satisfaction with their environment, which were the place of work, actually had a higher attrition than those who had um, medium or very high satisfaction with their place of work. So with this, that's the environment of their place of work. So with this, we can see that low environment satisfaction actually causes more employees to leave than those who had either a medium environment satisfaction or a very high environment satisfaction. although those with high environment satisfaction also had the second highest amount of attrition. Then if we look at job involvement level, those with high job involvement level actually had most of their employees leave. That's most of the employees who were had high involvement in their jobs left compared to those who had low or very high. And while those in medium were the second highest. So what I will advise for this, which is a recommendation, going straight into insights and recommendation here, is that job involvement should be kept at a medium pace. It shouldn't be too stressful and job involvement, although you should have very high job involvement, it shouldn't be in a way that it will overwhelm the employee. So organizations can take this into account to make sure that job involvement is kept to an okay level and moderate level. So looking at the total age grouping, young adults were the highest amount of people, but as I said before, they also had the highest attrition. So we can see that this is by population. But I also want to point out something that is crucial here. Youths who were the second least amount of people who were hired actually had the second highest attrition rate. So we can see that attrition is not based solely on population. From just this analysis here, you can see that attrition is not solely based on population, but is based on how young the person are and stability of the person, because those who were younger in age grouping left the company more than those who were older, which were the seniors and mature adults and even the middle adults. So if we go to um, marital status by attrition, let's see if those who were married, single, or divorced left the company more. And from this, we can see that those who were single, which we can also almost assume, but not really assuming, but most of those who were single were, if we just put that, we can see that most people who were single were young adults and youths, which also had the highest amount of attrition. So people who don't really have a settled marital status were left the company more than those who were married and divorced. Divorced people were the least amount of employees. So those who were divorced in their marital status, or those who had the divorced category, were the least amount of people who were hired, or yes, least amount of employees, and they also had the least amount of attrition rate. While those who were single, which were the second least amount of people who were hired, had most of the attrition rates there. So another recommendation I will give to this is that although yes, promotion should be given to people who were, that's for higher salary, should be given to people who are outstanding in their performance, it should also be considered their stability and their marital status too. For instance, now more people who are performing well in the divorce category can be given demanding roles that requires a longer stay at the company than people who are single or people who are younger in age. So we should look at those who are more stable and are also professional in their work and give them a better standing that or the company or organization knows that require a longer stay at their company than giving unstable but qualified people. So another caveat for this is that there should also be a policy. For instance, now more demanding roles, high salary earners who had more demanding roles should have contracts that will be able to, so that the organization will be able to know that the person is
Hi, Cassie. Can you hear me? Is it just me? I can't hear you again. Or is it my network?
We can hear her as well.
Okay, thank you, Sam Network.
All right, so while we're waiting for Cassie to join us, I just want to say something before my colleague will take over. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Please confirm you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
All right, thank you. All right, good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, good evening. I don't know. Do we have people? Okay, yeah, Australia is in their evening now. All right, so my name is Chinyere. And I just want to say something about Cassie. This project is something that she just did within her 3 months into her learning journey with Amdor Analytics. So she's a March cohort. So she started her journey with Amdor Analytics in the month of March. And yeah, last week in the month of
Sorry,
March.
I'm so
Someone,
sorry. My connection got dropped off. Can you
okay,
hear
that's
me?
fine. I can hear you, Cassie. Please, can you just go to the recommendation?
Okay. I was giving the recommendations as I was presenting the data set, but I'll go straight to the recommendations now. Um, from my recommendations, we can see that further investigation and analysis is needed for the data set. So the data set didn't really give everything that is needed in the to analyze everything. For instance, now I was going to go to the slicer analysis, but let's just go to the recommendation. But from the slicer, let me just show you the slicer so that you understand the context in which I'm talking through. We have performance rating, years at company, years with current manager, and then years since last promotion. And then you also your distance from work. So from the slicer, if we use the slicer, we can see that an employee who was a high income earners in the data set, sorry for context, data set we only have
Hi, Cassie.
four employees who
Apologies
were
for
high
jumping. Oh,
earners.
you're not sharing.
Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Oh my god, sorry. I thought I was sharing my screen. So sorry, so sorry. This is where I was. I was trying to say that further analysis is needed, and I was trying to name my slices which were performance routine, years at company, years with current manager, years since last promotion, and distance from work. So how is their distance from work? You have far, mid range, near, very far. So if we can use the slicers to actually have more idea, like as we put the slicer, if we select each of the category, the data set changes. So from this slicer analysis, what I was saying as the recommendation is that's why more analysis is needed, because from the slicer, if we use the slicer, we have four high income earners, and among these high income earners, um sorry. So an example from the slicer analysis is that from the those who were near, we just show you just one recommendation I'll give you now. And we have four income earners and four very high income earners. And then from once slicer here and those with very high job involvement among these high income earners, which were four very high income earners, he had a high job involvement level, or rather a very high job involvement level, and also a very high environment satisfaction level. If I use it to go those who are near, just the those who are near, we have two high income earners live near the environment of their workplace, while three very high income earners lived this thing lower. So if we go through this, we have that. Sorry, let me. I'm hearing myself double. The network is very okay. So yeah, we can see that he had 5 years of experience at the company, and with current manager, he had 4 years with the current manager. So when we use this slicer, we have one very high employee that's high earner. This is by monthly income, but he still left the company. So we can see that one very high earner left the company, although he had a very high job satisfaction level and he had a high um, job involvement level. So from this, we can draw the conclusion that more analysis and feedback is recommended from the employee that left the company. For instance, now feedback analysis such as collecting more reasons why they left the company, specific reasons, not just more reasons, specific reasons on the reason why they left the employee and how the organizations can be improved with what they left, like with the reason that they left. So more analysis is needed. Then from this we can also see that surveys needed for the are needed for the data set. So more surveys should be collected for more analysis to be made to know the underlying conditions on why employees are leaving the company. So, hello,
Hello,
can
can
you
you
hear
hear
me?
me?
So, um, looking at the next recommendation here, to encourage workforce retention, we can see that since attrition was not solely dependent on employee population size, the company should focus on employing more senior groups as they have employing skilled and stable employees, particularly in the senior and middle aged adult groups, as they have stronger retention patterns. So employees should focus on employing more people who are in the category of senior and um, more that's people who are more mature in age because they tend to stay longer at the company. So from this, we can also look at this third recommendation. I'll just take two more recommendations, then I'm done, which is the retention strategies and the compensation. So I said before, employees can should hire more people who are more older in age, though they can hire people who are younger in age, but as we can see from the visualization here, those who are older in age have more retention pattern than those who are more younger in age. So it is advised that they hire young older people. So from also another retention strategy is introducing reward mechanism. When I mean reward mechanism, I mean to improve um, working conditions. Employees should have support system to increase job satisfaction and loyalty. So reward mechanisms can encourage employees to have a higher job satisfaction level and also to remain loyal to the company as their work is being rewarded accordingly. And also for the hourly rate should be given according to work level because those who have very high monthly income can have the same hourly rate as those who have low monthly income. And I would feel like hourly rate should be solely based on how well you're doing your work. So in conclusion, I'll say that continuous monitoring of the attrition trends after all these recommendations are being implemented. Continuous monitoring of the attrition trend should be given so that we'll be able to know how it is affected after implementing these strategies. So this concludes my presentation for I project.
Thank you very much, Cassie. I'm not sure Natasha is still here. Please, can you stop sharing if you can hear me? Natasha, are you here?
Yes, I am here. I'm here. Okay. I thought you wanted to Chinyere. That was why I, was quiet for a while. But well done, Cassie. Well done. That was an exceptional one. Really um practical, eye-opening, I must say, because I noted some things down. Some things you were saying were really, a bit shocking to me. I was like, oh wow, finding out that I think was it from the first dashboard, finding out that job satisfaction, was not does not directly um, impact percentage of people that have mental health conditions, and even realizing that there was a sharp contrast there, in the sense that people people that seem to be satisfied with their jobs still had, mental health conditions to deal with. It was really shocking. Well done, Cassie. Well done, well done. For other people in the audience, I'm sure we've, learned one or two, or picked one or two things from what Cassie has said so far. So if you have any questions, contributions, or you just want to say something about, what she presented so far, like we said, this was approach. I don't know if this one exactly was their class project, but she has designed a lot of dashboards since she has been with Amdor Analytics. If you can follow her on LinkedIn, you see, her progress so far when she started. Before she was doing very simple dashboards, but now, as you can see from what she presented, a very complex data set, combining different kinds of bar charts, you know, multiple bar charts, complex bar charts, all of them. In fact, I give it to her. I know that that data set was really bulky to work with, but she was able to, navigate it well and draw out valuable insights from them. So yes, well done, Cassie. To those in the audience, if you have any questions, about Amdor Analytics, about what we do, or even about the dashboard itself, you can go ahead to, ask her. Thank you. And while we wait for people, you can just drop your questions on the chat box while we wait for that. Cassie, I'd like to ask you like a few questions, just to let's just hear more from you. Let's pick your brain a bit, your data analytics brain, right? So, first of all, what was the most challenging part of working with this data, Cassie?
Okay, that's a good question. The most challenging part for me when working with the data was actually analyzing it. So it wasn't the visualization part, it was the part of actually critically thinking about the data and being able to get insights that are worth implementing. That's insights and recommendations that are worth knowing about and worth implementing because there's so much to know. So sitting down and actually, you know, looking at it detailed and drawing out recommendations and insights and also knowing how to use the tools to actually showcase this recommendation and insights was one of the challenging parts. So it wasn't challenging but time taxing because it took some time.
Amazing, amazing, well done. So, was there anything shocking that you discovered while that you discovered about the data sets while analyzing the data? And also, was there anything shocking you discovered about yourself? Because analysis goes beyond what you're trying to work on. It's also, you know, has an impact on you. You get to see, oh, so I can do this. Oh, wow, so I can think this way, right? So give me one shocking thing you discovered about the work, what you were doing, and one shocking thing you discovered about yourself.
Okay, one shocking thing I discovered about the work is that I found out that most data sets need more information. So the research methodology that our coach is always telling us about is actually very needed to expand your analysis, because I'll be analyzing that, oh, if this contains this, I'll be able to know more on why this is being caused. For instance, now those with access to mental health resources, from my presentation, we can see that in spite of the fact that they had access to resources that could help their mental health, they still had higher amount of people with burnout, depression, and anxiety, which showed that more analysis is needed on how they use the mental health resources. And one shocking thing I'll say that I've discovered about myself is that it made me think more critically and outside the box, because to know how to represent the data sets in a visual manner that can communicate the numbers well and clearly is something I discovered about myself, that I can actually research about, know more functions, know more formulas to be able to do this well. So yes, that's what I discovered.
Oh wow, amazing, amazing. I mean, I was just looking at especially the first one. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm looking at it from my own perspective, but I feel like I was looking at it and I'm like, oh, this is a lot. You really, you're piecing this together was a lot. So I know you said being able to think critically, right, was one thing you discovered about yourself.
Yes.
So yeah, so I'd also like to ask, was there a chart you wanted to use initially, but then maybe at the middle you decided to change it? Was there any moment like that?
Okay, I'll say in this data set, that's in the first one, I would have used a pie chart, but there were more genders than the two genders that we have in this world. So I couldn't use a pie chart to represent the gender analysis. And I also saw that the categories were high, so I had to use mainly bar charts. So I'd have liked to make it visually interesting by using more charts. So that's one.
So was that why you chose this exact layout? I mean, I'm talking about both the first project and the second one. Was that why you chose the layout you used? If you
Yes,
were to
unlike the
choose maybe
second one, which I could represent the gender in a pie chart, the first one which I presented, which were the remote workers, I had to put it as a KPI to represent the numbers in each of the gender category. So that's why I used mainly bar charts. And then for the four categories of mental health, normally I do bivariate analysis, which is normally two categories. So I had to use um three columns for each of the graphs rather than two. So that's why it's looking kind of stacked, because there were four categories of mental health condition. I was trying to look at what work quality affects the mental health, what causes anxiety, what causes burnout, and what causes depression, and then what promotes no mental health condition.
okay, 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 well done, well done. I think there's a question on the chat box. Person said, can our projects during I think the first question has been answered already. What's certificates? Hey Chineke, sorry. Apologies guys. What certificate will be given after the program? I think that has been answered already. The certificate of completion, right? And our certificate is recognized by a body, I think American Council. So really accredited. You don't have anything to worry about. Our certificate is credible enough. You can, show it to any employer no matter how big the organization is, because we are backed up by an international body um, in America. And so for the second question, I can see your hands, Muma. I'll get to you. Second question, can our project during the program be added as part of our experience while building CV? Why not? I mean, that's the whole essence of this. Um, your projects are your selling points. Your projects are your selling points. You for when you're speaking to any recruiter at all. You add it to your portfolio, you add the portfolio link to your CV. You can even add it as, under your directly under your CV, maybe the project sessions. I'm sure Cassie has a ton of projects on her CV already. And also, not just CV, you can add it to your LinkedIn. There's a section for projects, on your LinkedIn profile. You can add it there. Of course, it will boost your profile, boost your credibility when recruiters are speaking with you and they see that you've done solid things like these projects that Cassie has worked on. It will give you, an advantage over other candidates. So, yes, can. I don't know if I answered your question, Adesina, or the second question. All right. So thank you. Yes, so Roger, let's hear you. You have a question. Mute, please.
Thank you. Can somebody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. I just wanted to commend Cassie that this is a very powerful project. From the way she details it out, it's like this is a masterpiece. I want to commend her for the number sense. She has demonstrated a high sense of number theory. The chunking, the scaffolding into different pieces, separating the variables and making sure that she groups things in different subgroups and knows what to put under what, brings a lot of information, brings a lot of details, and brings a lot of understanding to the whole picture. And any lay person listening to this analysis will be able to grab or learn a lot of things about work-life balance, which somebody might not even expect this much information. And then her representation was very good. She was very consistent with coloring. The color, her choice of colors that she picked, and then define a key that says what this color represents was very explicit, and I was like very good because the colors were not like all over the place where you just have colors all over the place and then you don't know what this color represents. She was consistent such that if you know what this color represents from the beginning, you use that color to interpret the strengths of any situation across the analysis. That was very good. And I also wanted to strongly recommend on the pie chart, but she already made mention of the fact that she noticed that she had a lot of variables, a lot of things that she had to put on the pie chart, and she couldn't figure out a way to express that on a pie chart, which is great. Information dispersed on a pie chart is more understandable to a layman, and also, a pie chart would represent information as percentages. If they say 75% of these people did this, 12% of these, more people will understand better than saying 1,648 people and then 1,748. That difference is like sometimes difficult for people who are not good in numbers to decipher. So I think that is where she has a lot of strength with that number sense. And then I just say that I just want to add, the last thing that I want to add is that if she could, if there is a way to express also maybe the things on the bar chart as percentages, that will be, very, I just want to see if that is something that you guys can do, express instead of putting the exact numbers. The exact numbers are good, but if we can associate percentages into it, that will speak more clearly than getting out the whole numbers all the time. Thank you very much. And thank you, Cassie, for that great presentation.
Yes, I totally agree with you. Thank you very much for the um feedback. And percentages do speak more than numbers, as you said. There are ways on doing it, and all these have been taught at Amdor. So just maybe getting your Excel formula and dividing it to get the percentage. You know what the total is, what you're getting the percentage for, make that denominator, and you know. So as you said, yes, getting the percentage on the bar chart is more comprehensive than numbers and better in understanding than as you said, someone who doesn't know data, which is actually the main point of the dashboard, is supposed to understand by first glance. Percentages speak easier, as you said. Thank you for the feedback.
Thank you, Cassie, and thank you, Muma. Thank you so much. I mean, that was really an elite contribution. Showed you really listened to everything she said. Her presentation, you were really paying rapt attention. Thank you very much. Thank you. So we'll be wrapping up this session. Does anyone have any contribution, any question about Amdo Analytics? I mean, these things that Cassie just did, her project and everything, these are more you can do when you enroll for our courses. I mean, imagine you enroll for data analytics in Amdo Analytics. 3 months from now, you'll be able to do these things that Cassie is doing, or even more. I mean, yeah, you can. So imagine presenting, large data sets, information, key information that are vital to society. Because I mean, I also picked insights from what Cassie shared. That there's a contrast between um, job satisfaction and mental health. Sometimes they are not like directly dependent on each other. I've learned something, and from the other one too, she said younger people. One of the things I picked from the second dashboard is that younger people have higher attrition rates. They tend to leave a job faster. Of course, because they have options more than married people. Married people with kids, you have to think twice before you quit your job. So, I mean, um, the insights her dashboard reviewed are relevant, yeah, relevant insights pertinent to you know, society and all of that. So yes, you can do this and more when you register. So let this be your sign to enroll for data analytics, to enroll in Amda Analytics. Please go ahead, Ma'am Chinyere. Your hands are up.
Hi. Yeah, thank you very much, Natasha. Thank you very much, Muna. Pardon. Cassie, thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for doing this, right? Thank you. I really appreciate your time. Okay, so just one thing I want to add here, or let me just ask this question to Cassie. I know you started this program January, so I don't know. Have you done data analytics program before joining Amda Analytics?
Yeah, actually, it is an interesting question. I will not say I'm a beginner in tech, but I've also not done data analytics before in any program. But I was actually self-taught. I started off with another tech background, but when I wanted to go to data analytics, I started with YouTube, Alex the Analyst. So I was working with my SQL. So I didn't know much about Excel or Power BI. Neither did I know much about SQL because I was working with Excel too, but just a little bit of it. I didn't know about Power Pivot. So I heard about analytics, Amdo Analytics, and decided to go for it. Though it wasn't with these discounts that I first heard about. I heard about it like since last year, and the prices were still, the normal prices. Then I heard about this discount from somebody and decided to just go for it. Yeah.
All right, thank you. So, you heard what she said, right? I haven't discussed this with her. Okay, so she don't know anything about Excel and Power BI. Of course, the Excel that she knew, maybe little SQL, which was self-taught. Now, if you pay attention to what she said, and pardon, so the software that she used, the first project was presented using Excel. Now, it is so amazing when you hear people use the word Excel is just for numbers. There's nothing you can do with Excel. There is a lot you can do with Excel, right? And what she just showed you now is what one of the things that you can do with Excel. And trust me, that is advanced analytics that she did with Excel for you to see that thing. I believe that she used Power Query in Excel and analyze that data to come out like that. If you see the raw data, you will know that if you have not used Excel or Power BI before, you don't know what to do with that. But you can see what she did under 3 months of her journey with Amdor Analytics. And look at the Power BI, the attraction project that she presented was handled using Power BI as well. Now, this is to tell you, a lot of people do ask this question. I'm not sure if I'm the analytics. In fact, during now that we are doing this program now, now someone dropped in our chat, one of our group chats, that I don't know if I'm scared of online program because of scam. I don't know if I don't know if I put him or her right. Right. So it's not here at Amda Analytics. And everything that you're going to be learning is project based. Project based. So it's only classes that are presented today. We have thousands of our students that have done the same thing that Cassie I did. Okay, everybody cannot, come here and start presenting. And if you want to know more about under analytics and our students, go online. Especially LinkedIn. Go on LinkedIn. If you check Cassie, I think her full name is Chikasimobi Azuokeke. So go on LinkedIn, go and check her LinkedIn profile. You will see a lot of projects she worked on. One of the projects that she presented, that was though the project was somehow, but she was able to fix it, right? So the actual project is the impact of mental health on the remote work. So this is one of their custom projects. One of their custom projects. At the end of the day, they did 4 projects, 2 Excel, 2 Power BI, 4 projects, right? And in their custom project, they did 3 projects. Imagine on that 3 months of your program with Amdor Analytics, you work on 7 good projects, like 7 good projects. So you see that whatever you're going to be learning at Amdor Analytics from the beginning to the end of the program is hands-on. Total hands-on program. So we don't have much to say, but just like my colleague said, if you want to start your program, this is the best time. Look at what she said. Okay, when she heard about Amdor Analytics, well, when we're still selling our program, well, I don't want to use the word exorbitant, right, or expensive. Yeah. So, so then she heard about the 90% discount, and she don't want to learn it. How to take this advantage of the 90% discount and then register. So that 90% discount is still available, much available, and which we are going to be ending very soon. Very, very soon. When you come to Amdor Analytics again, we'll tell you that this is the main program. This is the original price. And one thing again you need to know about Amdor Analytics, especially this 90% discount, what we reduce is the training fee and not the quality of the program. Never, not the quality of the program. So when people hear 100,000 naira, and they'll be like, they start asking questions, because tell me who is going to take this program for you at that amount, and knowing that it's fully pure remote, live classes plus some little self-paced. Or however, not that somebody's going to give you one video to go and say, oh, I watched 20 hours video, 40 hours video, and come and collect certificates. No, we don't do it here. It's this hands-on program from the A to the Z of your program. You are still with us. And let me tell you something amazing about these guys, right? These are people that started with us since March. They are still with us. They are still with us. So just for you to know that, even when we are telling you that it's 3 months, sometimes it exceeds 3 months. But however, the official time to end the program is 3 months. All right. So I don't know if Natasha is still here, so she can proceed. Thank you, everybody. Let's talk about the training fee, other programs, and the start date for the program. Natasha, are you still here?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you. So, like my colleague said, apologies guys, like my colleague said, our program is stopped here. You already have evidence. From what Cassie has presented, our program is stopped here. The value is, the highest value you can get out there. So we have 8 different programs for now. We have data analysis. So in case Cassie presented a data analytics project, but in case you're like, oh, I'm not interested in data analysis, I want to learn project management, we also offer project management. So we have about 8 courses, which are data analytics, HR analytics. So for those that are already HR personnel and you just want to, learn a bit of Excel, learn a bit of Power BI that you want to use, those tools to apply to your work as an HR person, you can go for HR analysis. So you don't have to pivot 100% from your career path. You can say, oh, I'm already an, what do they call them? I'm a maybe an operations person. I already do operations where I am operations associate or whatever. I don't want to pivot totally. Why not? You can learn project management. You know, being an operations person is related to managing projects, overseeing stuff and all of that. So you can learn project management, or you can say, oh, I'm already I'm already in maybe another sector, maybe I'm already like an IT person, but I just want to add a little bit of tech. You can go for AI engineering. So here are the list of our courses: data analysis, HR analytics, business analysis, project management, data engineering. We do data engineering where we teach you how to build pipelines, to move data from one system to the other, collect data, arrange them, and all of that. So that's data engineering. We also do data science. So data science is like the predictive arm of data. Data analysts like Cassie collect data, analyze them. Data engineers build the pipelines that those data analysts use to collect data. While data scientists, they deal more with prediction, right? So as an analyst has done the analysis of the data set and all of that, a data scientist can use data to predict the next thing. So, for instance, oh, um, 500 people in this company are, you know, going through, not this company, of course, but like maybe a pseudo company, XYZ Limited, are going through maybe mental health conditions or whatever, whatever. And then a data scientist will apply their tools or whatever and tell you, oh, in the next 3 years, this will be the percentage of people. There will no longer be 500 people. Maybe it will jump to 1,200 people. So that's prediction. That's what data scientists do. So if you want to learn data science, we also offer data science. We also offer AI engineering. That one is like building AI models. So the models that do AI predictions that help with, you know, um, research, translation, whatever you can do with AI, the models that do that, you can learn to build them. You learn about LLM, learn about models and all of that. That's AI engineering. And also, lastly, we offer cyber security. I don't think I need to explain. Everybody should know what cyber security. Just protecting people from digital threats, right? That's cyber security. So if you're interested, my colleague will drop the link to our interest form on the chat box. Adetola, please, if you have that, you can drop it here so you can fill the interest form and our sales consultants will take it up from there. Thank you, everyone. Oh, it's here already. So fill the interest form or you can just copy the link, and save it somewhere and then fill it because we'll be ending this session soon. So thank you, everyone. Again, this should be your sign to register with Amdor Analytics. You always get value for your money. Yeah, so any other question, any other contribution before we wrap up this session? Any question? Okay. So, but if you have any question, maybe you don't have now, but you have later, you can always reach out to us via the group chat or, fill the interest form. Yeah, now is the best time to make use of the opportunity. Yeah, so our prices are changing soon. We are currently running a discount, so you can get these courses for as low as 100,000 naira, right? So less than money you spend uh, in a club for your dorime and all of that. Cheap money. So compared to what you'll be getting, and compared to you are learning a skill that will make your future brighter, in the sense that you can get good jobs, high paying opportunities. So why not? I think it's a good thing to invest that amount, and secure your future. Thank you, everyone. You can fill the interest form and we'll take it up from there. Thank you, everyone. We end the session now. Have a lovely, lovely evening. Bye. And thank you, Cassie. Thank you. Bye, everyone.